The Texas FFA travel team is made up of the Texas FFA state president and the first vice president, alongside the other state officers who travel with the travel team when we're in their area. The Texas FFA travel team travels to 500 schools in the course of the year, representing 80,000 members, traveling 40,000 miles in the Texas FFA Ford truck.
Mason and I travel from around August all the way until May. And our audiences vary depending on where we are. Sometimes we're in a classroom, sometimes an auditorium, gymnasium, or even a rodeo arena. We've done everywhere from 6 students all the way to 1,300 students. We've also done kindergartners, elementary, and even middle schools at times. Our presentation is over positive attitude. And we really like this topic because it can apply to everyone, no matter what age or what rank or position or social status you may be in. Everyone can use a positive attitude and it helps them get them through their day. Probably one of the most inspiring moments this year is we go to 3 schools a day, 5 days a week, and we give the same presentation. And although it can seem very repetitious, one thing you have to keep in mind is that your audience is always changing. And our message can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And this one time I received a Facebook message right after a presentation of a girl whose grandma just came down with cancer. It was about 6 months before our presentation, plus she was also dealing with other family and financial issues before that. And she said she hasn't really smiled until she saw our presentation. It being about positive attitude kind of helped lift her spirits, and she said she really appreciated us being there. It was the first time she kind of had a good moment in this whole ordeal that she's been going through, and she said she was looking forward to a bright future, to change her attitude.
Schools are selected at the Wieghat conference. Ag teachers sign up that would like the travel team to come out to their school, and we did a presentation over positive thinking and opportunities in the FFA.
The Texas FFA travel team travels in a 2009 Ford F-150 Lariat. It's 4-door with 2-wheel drive, leather seats with seat warmers, and what's really nice is seat coolers.
Daylon and I travel to 3 schools a day, and the first school of the day is charged with the responsibility of housing the travel team. So strangers, families who are from that chapter, let us into their homes with hospitality and allow us to stay with them every single night. Throughout this year, we have stayed in some houses which had a live bobcat running from the fireplace into the bathroom. We've also, personally, I've stayed in a room covered with zebra print all across the walls and a cheetah toilet. We have seen all kinds of things, and it truly just shows how diverse our members are across the state of Texas.
Probably one of the most memorable experiences for me was the Texas FFA Spurs night. It was a night where FFA members all across the state were invited to a Spurs game to watch them play, and afterwards they got to interview George Hill and get some questions like, what does he do before a game? Or if he has a bad game, how does he rebound from that? And it kind of translates into what we do with FFA. If we ever had a bad day or a bad competition, how do we turn around and make the next day better? It was also really cool because I got to meet the mascot, and I was a mascot at my high school, and we danced a little bit. They even had a disco dance competition, which we can say we partook in, and I think we won. But it was a really cool opportunity, definitely very memorable. I appreciate everyone that came out that night. It was a blast.
Imagine waking up in the morning, spending every waking moment with the same person for an entire year. Throughout the course of this last year, Daylon and myself have spent every moment with each other. So you may ask, how do you do that? How can you stand living with the same person every single moment of the day? But honestly, Daylon and I's personalities just seem to work together. I don't know how it happened, but honestly, we haven't gotten in a fight this entire year, and truly he's become my best friend.
Am I with him a lot? Definitely. Now you're probably wondering, well, if you're with each other that much, you probably get into some quarrels, some fights. Well, fortunately, not really. The thing is, since we're always going to be with each other, if we fight, where are we going to go? We can't leave them in Darazette, Texas, or vice versa, and so we constantly, we just kind of have to put our differences aside. We never really argued. We never thought it was really worth it. If he had a different view and I had a different view, we would just talk it out. And since we're always together, we were always able to do that. So maybe we've argued on wherever to eat. Besides that, everything's been fine. Traveling to over 500 schools throughout the state, one thing that definitely is evident is that diversity in the state of Texas. Everywhere from North Texas to South, from East to West, the schools are different and each have their very own special je ne sais quoi. Some schools are very small, and so they can specialize in whether it's ag mechanics, leadership, horticulture, whatever their little niche is. Some schools we've been to have been very large, and they have multiple ag teachers that can each cover their own little area. Some schools have one ag teacher that does it all, and it's really cool to see on how every single chapter adapts to what their environment is. If you're in the valley, citrus may be a huge thing you learn about, where it's not really evident in maybe East Texas, where pine trees and other things may be more your focus area. It's really cool just to see just how the chapters use agriculture, and it just kind of shows on how broad agriculture really is. It's not just one particular thing, but a whole variety of subjects. This year has been an amazing opportunity. It will have memories that I will hold on to for a lifetime. And it's something that not every person gets to endure. And for me being able to be a part of that, it's truly amazing. I would just like to thank all the ag teachers, all the sponsors, all the travel coordinators, and especially the students for listening to our presentation, helping us out, helping us with logistics, and making this an overall great year. Thank you very much.
From Pecos to Deweyville, to Derazette to Brownsville, Daylon and I have had the blast and journey of a lifetime throughout this year. But it would not have been possible without the families, the advisors, and the travel coordinators who made this all possible, allowing us to meet some of the most amazing people across the state of Texas and have some of the best experiences that we'll never forget throughout our lives. Thank you.